Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. We're going to be looking at the astrology of the first week of July 2024. July promises to be a quite interesting month. There is some really big things likely to happen this month. Astrologically, and that sort of just lines up with the big things that seem to be happening. Well, of course, in the world, because the world does reflect the planetary energies, right? So we're going to take a look at the first week of July, and just keeping in mind, and you know what, I think what I'll do, all right. All right, I think what I'll do is share my screen. Yes. Okay, and we're going to start. I think we'll just start from the beginning, just really briefly. I want to go over the numerology and the Kabbalah very, very briefly. I have a extended video on the energy of this, but just to sort of bring it up and then bring it out to the next part, which is the week ahead. We are in an 8 universal year vibration, the vibration of instant manifestation, completely energetically located on the tree of life in the throat chakra, in the place where we balance the energy of cutting away and building. So things are being brought down, systems being brought down by the sword of Gabura, and things building from the well of generosity of Hesed. There is a balance of that, however. And so this is where 2024 lies on the tree of life. And this month we have Mars. This is a Sephiroth of Mars. Start in Taurus, moving into Gemini later in the month. And then, of course, Jupiter, this blue Sephiroth, now in Gemini for a year. We are in a 7-month vibration. July, of course, is the 7th month of the year, and so the vibration of 7 comes in. 7 is the philosopher, the teacher, the analyzer, the mystic. We are bringing in all our mystical powers this month with this 7 energy. 7 is about understanding. On the tree of life, it is located, this path is located here. This was the path we lived on all of 2023, as 2023 was a 7 vibration year. And so perhaps something from 2023 resonates to this time, this time of year. Now with the monthly vibration being 7, connecting the Sephiroth of Saturn, known as Baina, which means understanding, to the Sephiroth of Gabura, severity, that which cuts away the extraneous. This is the relationship between Saturn and Mars, generally a challenging relationship at that. And we are now in a 15-6 vibration. If we add the universal year 8 and the monthly vibration of 7, we are in a month of the devil card. The 15-6 is about peace and love and boundaries, healthy boundaries. In the symbology of the devil, it is the choice between the light and the dark, being imprisoned by your own greed and your need for more, whether it's the lower sensual nature or just the greed and avarice that comes with being in this lower dimensional frequency. You have a choice. You can choose that which is eternal or that which is temporal, and the choice is this choice will be made this month for many people. Okay, so that's just quickly the vibrations. Now, in the first week, we start the month off with Neptune stationing retrograde. Neptune stations retrograde on the 2nd of July, vibrationally, a 17-8 day, which is the star card. So it's about hope. It's about democracy, perhaps. It is an Aquarius vibration, the 17-8 card in the tarot. And you can see it's right here. It is this day, July 2nd, of which there's 4 different major things happening, vibrates on this path here. This is the path of the star. This is the Aquarius path on the tree of life. It connects the Sephiroth of the moon to the Sephiroth of Venus. The moon and Venus are feminine energies. And of course, we're here with the sun in Cancer, Cancer being the sign of the nurturer, the sign of the mother, the sign of the moon, the sign of the matrix. From where we come, from where we grow, from how we develop, how we come into the world. Even the symbol of Cancer, which some think is the symbol of the crab. We could see a crab here for sure, right? But it's really the yin and the yang, right? And it's the flow. It's Cancer. It's water. It's feelings. It's emotions. This is spinning. This is always spinning, always moving in and always moving out, the nature of Cancer. And so we're moving into a month where the sun is in Cancer. Yes, we have a full new moon in Cancer this week. At the end of this week, there is a flowing energy. There is a sort of and could be stormy, right? Could be stormy seas here. There's a lot of water in the atmosphere, and there's a lot of water in these charts. So Neptune, as the ruler of Pisces, which is connected to the oceans, to the tides, but also connected to the great cosmic sea, the great morphogenic field from which creation sprouts, from which the thought form, the beingness of Aries sprouts out of the great cosmic sea, from the undifferentiated into the very differentiated. As the North Node moves through Aries, we're being asked to differentiate, to be our light, to sprout up from this great cosmic sea. Now, with Neptune being at the last degree of Pisces and stopping right before, just so close to Aries, but not quite yet. We're not quite ready. We're not quite done yet. We have things that we still have to work through and work out before we can truly move into a time of creating our own reality. In 2026, on February 20th, Saturn and Neptune will conjoin in the first degree of Aries, the I am. We will be in a 10-1 vibration year that year. 10-1 is about change and new beginnings. But it's between now and then we have work to do. Okay. So we also have on the 2nd Mercury making a waning trine to Neptune. Mercury at the last degree of Cancer, of course, Neptune at the last degree of Pisces, now standing still, even more powerful, if we could even say. Remember, Neptune is the energy of the collective. It's the power of the collective. And the collective, I think, I would imagine when we look at the world and we see what's going on, I think we yearn for peace. We yearn for peace. We yearn for compassion. We yearn for love and oneness. That's what Neptune does. Neptune reminds us, and Pisces reminds us of the oneness. That what happens to the least of us happens to all of us. And so what's happening to the least of us will happen to all of us. And so we must start to care and show the compassion that Pisces asks us to do. With Mercury, the planet of the mind, trining Neptune, the great cosmic sea, we have direct connection to source and to spirit at this time. Very powerful day for that. Very powerful time, just in general, not just a day. It's not a day. This is the soup that we're living in. after Mercury makes its trine to Neptune, it goes into Leo, of course, the next sign, right? And then and that's significant. Our minds are the way we communicate in the sign of creative self-expression, but also in the sign of self-aggrandizement. So we can expect to hear a lot about people, from people, probably about themselves, making things maybe bigger and more dramatic than they need to be. Venus also on that day makes a waxing trine to Saturn. This is a trine, a self-expressive trine. Venus is money and relationships, and Saturn is structure. And so this is a time where we can have some relationships that bring stability into our life. Okay. On Wednesday, July 3rd, which happens to be my birthday, vibrating to an 18.9, I'm moving into my 18.9 year. Ooh, the moon. We have Mercury opposing Pluto. Wow, what an aspect to have on your birthday. Oppositions bring awareness. And Pluto, the planet of power in the sign of the people, opposite Mercury, Mercury, in the sign of the individual, the ego, the king, the head, the leader, as it were, bringing awareness to where the leader is and where the people are, right? That is it a gulf? Is it a moment of realization? Powerful energies. On Friday the 5th, Mars makes a waxing sextile to Saturn. Mars is action and Saturn is authority, and a waxing sextile is opening the lines of communication. This could be lines of communication between a leader and his soldiers, right? Getting back, getting some feedback from the soldiers. Perhaps we'll see that in Israel. I know that they're having issues with running out of soldiers or something like that. So we might see something like that. We also have on the 5th, the new moon in Cancer, 15 degrees of Cancer. And we will go to that at the end. This is the Sabian symbol if you'd like to read it, but we're going to talk about it again. All right, Neptune stationing at 30 degrees of Pisces. Of course, anytime these slower moving planets change direction, or actually they don't actually change direction from our perspective on planet Earth, they look like they've changed direction. It's just about the difference in speed around the orbits. And then sometimes it looks like things are moving backwards when they are actually not. It's just that you're moving too fast and they're moving too slow, right? Or they're moving slower than you. So that's how that happens. But it really is, from our perspective, looks like it's a time for us to go over things. Okay, it's a time for review. Anytime a planet is retrograde, it's a time for review. Now Neptune, because it's one of the outer planets, spends a lot of time retrograde, actually. So it's not unusual for people to have retrograde Neptunes in their chart, or Pluto or Uranus, because they do spend a lot of time in that retrograde motion. When a planet, especially these slower moving planets, change direction, it builds a lot of power. The power of Pisces can be overwhelming emotion, overwhelming feeling, losing your mind, delusion, illusion, or overwhelming love and compassion, beauty, oneness with all things. It also can be, this is a slippery slope. If people are messing around with things that could take them out at this time, there's a higher likelihood of that to happen with this energy. So not to mention, we're dealing with Pisces, and of course Neptune, the symbol for Neptune is what? Poseidon's trident, right? So could we see some weather? Yes. Could we see some ocean phenomena? Yes. Neptune is also mass consciousness, so there can be a mass movement of sorts. It says here at 30 degrees of Pisces, a majestic rock formation resembling a face is idealized by a boy who takes it as his ideal of greatness. And as he grows up, he begins to look like it, becoming our own ideal. It says here there is no right answer or best version of anything. We make it all up according to how we feel or think we should feel. We become whatever we idealize. Now, remember, we're in a month of choice between the light and the dark. Do you idealize somebody who is in the direction of staying in the density? Or do you idealize a higher version? Perhaps it's simply a higher version of yourself. Well, wouldn't that be the best thing to idealize? A higher version, a more integrated, a more loving, a more connected to all the chakras, not just those lower three that make you rich, but the uppers, which bring the richness in from spirit. There is abundance in the spiritual realm, and things process through manifestation, demanifestation, manifestation in the lower realms. It takes time, it takes energy. Okay. Neptune has been at 30 degrees of Pisces since May 4th and will be there till September 2nd when it moves back into the 29th degree. But it will be back at this degree and go back and forth, actually. So this is an active degree over the next couple of years as Neptune moves in and out of Pisces into Aries, into Pisces, into Aries. And I think then the last time it goes into Aries and stays there is when it meets Saturn. And that's when we start creating our own reality. Again, 2026, a 10-1 year, and that exact aspect is happening on the 20th of February, 2026, which is a 32-5, I believe, which is the path and the shadow of America. I hope we choose wisely. On the 2nd, Mercury is waxing trine to Neptune. Here it is in the chart. This is a chart for the US, for Washington, D.C., so thank you for that. It is a trine of self-expression. Neptune is spirit, unity, and Mercury is communication. We could be communicating our unity. Now, trines, because they're sort of in the background and they feel really good, you can just like go, yay, this is a great day. But there's great power in a trine, and you can utilize it, save that there is nothing holding that power back. And so you have to be prepared to work with this kind of energy. And so you may be hearing things from spirit. This is a 17-8 day. It is the star card. The star, of course, is connected to Aquarius. And if you notice that the Pluto is in a sextile to Neptune and an opposition to Mercury, and soon Mercury is going to move into Leo, right, and then oppose Pluto. So this is a powerful inundation, really, of energy and vibration coming in, healing energy in some cases, and also the energy of the access to the great cosmic sea. So this is I mean, things are going to be happening, but on a certain level, you have to pull yourself away. You know, unless it's happening to you and it's something and you're involved and you have to work it out in the moment. There's things that we have no control over that we're going to be watching and bearing witness to. And while it is interesting as an exercise to see like the choices people are making and what's happening, and it doesn't mean that the choices being made are necessarily what we have to focus on. We have power to focus on that which we want to bring into our lives at this time. And to bring in the light is dispelling the darkness. We have a choice. It's a 15-6 month. Mercury ingressing into Leo. I always like to look to see where the ruler of the sign that a planet has ingressed into, because it does affect the energy of the Mercury. Mercury in Leo is can be very bombastic, can be very self-referential, but can be so creative and so funny and so much fun. I mean, it's Leo, it's about joy, it's the joy of living. Look at me, I'm just like so happy, right? That could be Leo, or it could be, look at me, look at me, look at me, you're going to make me happy, look at me. It depends on where you're coming from and what vibrational frequency, how evolved are you? Is it a temporary thing for you? So, ooh, Mercury's in Leo, and I can be super creative, and then you go and be super creative. Or is this something you have in your chart and everybody's like, oh no, they're gonna get even worse, right? Like, so it kind of depends. But the first degree of Leo is a case of apoplexy. So there is certain amount of truth to everything I said there. And the sun, which rules Leo, is actually in Cancer, and it is at 12 degrees of Cancer, which is actually the degree of my sun. So this feels good to me, I think. And it says, and so first of all, the apoplexy part, the Mercury in Leo part, is managing the fiery life force, right? Life force. And then the sun, the ruler of Leo at 12 of Cancer, a Chinese woman nursing a baby with a message, a recognition of destiny. Sometimes it's enough that one person offers recognition in order for another to claim their greater destiny. This is about seeing each other. This is about bearing witness to each other's magnificence. Leo. Okay? So bear witness and rejoice in your magnificence. Bear witness and rejoice in other people's magnificence. Now, some people's magnificence may not be your thought of magnificence. You do not have to. You're going to bear witness one way or the other, but you don't want to take your energy and give it to that person, right? If that's not what you want to see, right? It's choice. It's choice. Venus waxing trine to Saturn. Venus is relationships, it's money. Saturn is work, it's the rules, it's the authority. There is a flow here in water signs, which can be aid and comfort. So perhaps we will see some real aid and comfort come to those people who really need aid and comfort. And this, if you have a little bit more aid and comfort than other people and you want to help people with less aid and comfort, this would be a time where you could offer something or maybe make a donation to your favorite charity. This is a good energy for that. Venus waxing trine, Venus, the planet of love, and a flowing self-expressive trine to Saturn, the structure of our consciousness. Venus at 20 degrees of Cancer. Gondoliers in a serenade. I've been serenaded by gondoliers. It's really kind of fun and a little silly, and it feels really good. I did it twice. And both times I giggled to the whole time. So it was really kind of neat. Celebration of permitted emotions. Yay, let's have fun, right? Trine, Saturn at 20 of Pisces, a table set for an evening meal, living with an attitude of gratitude. There is this need, like even the symbols this week really speak to us of just enjoying yourself, of sharing in the abundance of your life, in whatever way you can with, it doesn't even have to be people you know, it could just be, you know, a friend, a friendly handshake, or you go someplace where you meet new people, right? And so a joy of living, you know, at a time when there's just so much heartache and so much pain and so much suffering and so much vitriol. Sometimes it's nice just to like be happy and share the love. And maybe it's best that it's with strangers. Anyway, nice energy, really nice energy. On the 3rd, my birthday, we have Mercury opposing Pluto, right? Mercury just moved into Leo, and of course, Pluto's at the 1st degree of Aquarius. It doesn't take long, or 2nd degree of Aquarius. It doesn't take long for Gemini, excuse me, for Mercury, which is moving pretty fast right now, making that opposition. Oppositions are about awareness, and there was a seed planted. The seed gets planted at the conjunction. There was a number of conjunctions that happened in February. This was one of them. It actually happened on February 5th. Interestingly enough, the vibration of that day was the devil. And here we are in the devil month, where we have the opposition, which is the fruition of the seed planted at the conjunction. It occurred at 1 degree of Aquarius. That's where all the conjunctions occurred. All the conjunctions of the inner planets occurred at 1 degree of Aquarius, save for the sun, which conjoined at the last degree of Capricorn, which is the same degree that Pluto is going to be in from September to November. September 1st to November 20th. Pluto is going to be back in that last degree during the election in the United States, by the way. And also, we don't really even have to wait too long, because on the I think it's the 21st of this month, we have a full moon in Capricorn, our 2nd full moon in Capricorn this year, at 30 degrees of Capricorn. So we're going to get a preview. And in between that first full moon that we had at the end of June, the new moon that's happening at the end of this week on the 5th, which we'll talk about shortly, and then the full moon of Capricorn. In between that time, we've had all the Supreme Court stuff happening. Now, as I do this, we don't know if the Supreme Court is going to give Trump immunity. We'll have the sentencing of Donald Trump on the 11th, and we'll move into the Republican National Convention, which begins on the 15th, the same day that Mars and Uranus conjoin in Taurus on the most difficult star in the heavens, Cap-Algol, lose your head, and square trumps Mars right there on the cusp of the 12th house, in the 12th, on the cusp of the 1st. The 12th house is the house of self-undoing. Plus, this Uranus Mars conjunction is opposite Joe Biden's sun and his Venus. So this is a significant choice point, a significant time for both candidates for president of the United States. So it's just, I don't even know what to say beyond that. We're just gonna like put that aside for now, because I told you to go have a good time. And having that good time, it doesn't mean that you have free reign to get drunk or high or altered state. If you want to do that, that's fine, but you have to, well, unless you go too far, and then that whole like at the verge of going to the other side energy is around. I remember River Phoenix when he passed away on Halloween. What was that, 1989? Halloween is when the veil is the thinnest and it's easy to move over to the other side. And so these times when the veil is thin, whether we're dealing with aspects or even the solstices are the same way. The solstice, all the changing of the seasons is the veil is thinner. And so we have to be careful. So my point is you can have a good time. I'm not saying, don't do what you normally do. Just don't do it. Don't do anything you shouldn't do while you're doing that. Like go for a ride or something. You know what I mean? Just be careful. Be careful. Everything, it's a slippery, it's a slippery slope. Let's put it that way. So Mercury. All right. So after saying that, let's look at the symbols for this opposition. They're like, no. And remember, we're in the moon card vibration. We're still here in the 3rd of July. Mercury at 2 degrees of Leo, an epidemic of mumps, widespread implications of any event. An individual could begin an infectious idea or a behavior. Not all of them are safe or appropriate for the community. Understanding that small events have widespread implications. So the little things that you do count. Now they count for sure, but they count, especially count now, okay? Opposite, and remember, oppositions bring awareness. You don't have to do anything. You just have to open your eyes, open your third eye, open your heart. That's where the soul is, in your heart, dear. The soul, we evolve through our emotional body, right? And that's evolution of the heart. So we have to open our hearts as well. Pluto at 2 degrees of Aquarius, an unexpected thunderstorm. Now I have to tell you a story, a quick story. This is the second time I've done this. I did this first down in my office in the middle of a thunderstorm. And because I don't know what happened, it did not get recorded. So this is my second time doing this. And I came in the house and I'm in the bedroom that we're renovating. Yes, still renovating. But at least I can sit in here now and do a video, and it's at least it's a pleasant view, I guess, behind me. Hopefully, I think so. And I have my tree of life back there, and it is the 30th of June, so this is the end of Pride Month. But I actually didn't make that as a pride thing. I love rainbows. I just love rainbows and rainbows. I have rainbows in almost all my art. And and I just put the tree of life on top of it. I'm like, oh, look. And then it was Pride Month when I did it. And then it was Pride Month. And I'm like, oh, look what I did. I didn't even realize the tree of life on the rainbow flag. I love it. I love it. The only flag we have in my house, well, except for we do have an American flag that from my dad's funeral that we do have. But yeah, the only other flag we have is a peace pride flag with peace down the middle. All right, so an unexpected thunderstorm. Back to this. All life is ephemeral. Even though we want to cement our lives into secure structures, nature always wins in the end. Submission to unforeseen and uncontrollable forces. We do not know what we're facing right now. It is change, though. I'll tell you that it is change. And I just want to point out that there is one thing aspecting both these planets, and that's a square to Eris. I don't talk about Eris that much. She was just recently sort of discovered in what just recently means in space. I think back in 2006 or 2003, she was originally named Xena, which I loved. But then they changed it to Sedna, and no, it's not Sedna, Eris, the goddess of discord. She does not like people who have heirs. She does speak for the people. And she is a bit of a troublemaker. So she is squaring this opposition. So we can expect that nothing is going to be neat. Nothing is for sure. Nothing is, we're going to be riding the waves of change, guys. And the best way to get where you want to go is to visualize it, see it in your mind's eye. And if you can't get anything specific, or maybe even specific won't work, just a general feeling of peace and love and open-heartedness. And that's what you will attract. You will attract those things into your life. And the more of us that live in that space, the more good we can do, I think. I mean, what's the point of having joy if you can't share it, right? So this is interesting. On the 5th, Mars makes a sextile to Saturn. 20 degrees of Taurus, Mars slow and steady, nice. And Saturn at 20 of Pisces. Saturn's at 20 of Pisces because that's the degree it went retrograde. And so it takes a while to come out of that degree. And it is moving retrograde. So the next degree it'll go into would be 19 degrees, but it is sort of backing off a bit. Opening the lines of communication, that's what the sextile does, between Saturn, the authority, and the warrior nature of Mars. This is part of a Mars-Saturn conjunction. This is the synodic cycle that began, with the Mars-Saturn conjunction. That happened on April 10th at 15 degrees of Pisces. That day was a 22-4. That is the Fool card, a master number, master spiritual builder. The vibration of the day that we have here, July 5th, is a 20/2. That is the judgment card. It's the awakening soul. It's the resurrection card. Look at the, I love this card, actually. This is the rainbow bridge here. This is the rainbow, unity and diversity, diversity and unity. White light, when put through the prism, has all these different colors. Nobody has the corner on the white lights, guys. We all make up the white light. So when we had the conjunction in April, this was the Sabian symbol. An officer preparing to drill his men. Neither recklessness nor fearlessness, nor even overcautious modesty is appropriate when power is at play. Disciplined preparation to develop group consciousness. We are being called as warriors of lights. And what does a warrior of light do? We don't fight people. We love people. We do put up healthy boundaries. We say, I'm not taking this anymore. We reach out our hand to others in need. We create the world we want to see. We have help. Because now Mars at 20 degrees of Taurus, spiritual forces, energies and beings from other realms expressing themselves through our willing participation. Call in your guides, guys. They're waiting. They're waiting by the phone. Sextile, opening the lines of communication, as it is otherwise known, to Saturn and Pisces, living with an attitude of gratitude, a table set for an evening meal, being grateful for what you have, even if you don't have it much. Be a state of being in the present and being filled with love. And you will attract good things. You want to close down and shut down with fear, then you will create more and more reasons to be fearful. I mean, what do you want to do? Now, some people live in places where, you say, well, I don't know, that positive thinking probably ain't going to help if you're like in the Sudan. No, I mean, maybe it would, but I mean, that's why we have to do it. We have to be grateful for what we have, I mean, we complain about the high cost of food. Yeah, I don't like paying more at the grocery store, but we have food, So, it's walking with an attitude of gratitude, really. It's going to be very helpful at this time. And then lastly, the new moon in Cancer. 15 degrees of Cancer, in a sumptuous dining hall, guests relax after partaking in a huge banquet. Appropriate enjoyment of material abundance. Though it carries obvious risks of greedy attachments, the enjoyment of the material abundance is a valid spiritual principle. celebration of self, celebration of self. So we have the new moon in Cancer. It is in a square to the nodes of the moon, to the nodes of the moon. Now, the sun generally isn't affected when it's square the nodes of the moon, the sun being the center of the solar system. But the moon, however, is. The moon, it does get affected when it is square the nodes, and there is a resolution node. And the resolution node is the north node in Aries. So this new moon, this planting a seed of nurturance, planting a seed of creation, planting a seed of taking care and being taken care of. We need to move in the direction of Aries, which is about new, innovative ways. The old relationships that we have are not going to serve us at this time. The old ways of relating. We need to be ourselves. We need to. One of the things that Libra, now of course Libra is the rule of law, and a lot of laws are getting changed right now. Isn't that interesting? But Libra can also be the social expectations, what the society expects in a situation or expects of you. And sometimes you have to, those societal agreements, yes, I'm going to be like this and I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, don't really necessarily serve us anymore. And that's what needs to be let go at the south node there. We also have Venus conjunct this new moon in Cancer. So that's a more sort of Cancer energy here. Venus is the energy of love and relationship and money. It is in a sextile, and it's going to be exact in a couple of days, but it's in a sextile to Uranus, opening the lines of communication. And it's also in a sextile to Mars. It's in a sextile to Mars. So this is a very, a really good time to not only plant seeds for a new way of nurturance, new maybe family dynamic, but it can be a very progressive experience, and it really deals with the needs. Because the signs we're looking at here is Cancer and Taurus. Cancer and Taurus deals with food and safety and proper use of land. So not not land grabs, but that happens too. So things that we need to arable land, farmland, stuff like that. So things to consider. Things to consider. Okay, I know I talked to you for a long time. I think here, let's make sure that's the last one. Yeah. So next week we'll at the end of probably next Sunday I'll put out for the week ahead. Or actually I usually do it earlier than that. I just couldn't get it done. Actually did it and then it didn't work out, so I do it again. But I usually get it out sooner than this. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you find this helpful. You can check out my if you haven't seen it, Mystic Sisters Live. We've done 2 lives already. You can go back and see what we talked about if you're interested. But we will be doing a live again. I don't know if we're going to be doing it this Friday or not yet, because Friday is the new moon. So we might do a moon. We might actually do a live and a moon shadows episode at the same time. But I don't know if I can do that. I have to see if I can actually, well, I mean, I can do it, but I don't know if I'll be able to show you a chart. That's the whole thing, because it's a different way we do it. We do it on StreamYard. So check. Oh, I'm having a Kabbalah introduction to Kabbalah class. The Kabbalah class is actually 2 classes. You don't have to take both of them. The first one is the sort of nuts and bolts of the tree of life, the words, the paths, the descriptions, and then the second group of classes, which are there's 6 consecutive, usually 6 classes in a group, consecutive, whatever day we choose, once a week for 6 weeks. The second group of classes is how I use and how I work with the Tree of Life, including how some information on the numerology and some information on the astrology and information on the chakras. So there's a lot of like the basic building blocks of how I work with the Tree of Life. If you're interested in learning about that, that will be September. If you're interested, you can email me. There'll be a link below for that. I do have a Patreon page. If you like my work and you want to support me, that is a great way to support me. I'm still sort of on the fence about actually having a paid channel. I know it's what a lot of people on YouTube do. I just don't. You can give me your opinion on that if you want. You can either email me or you can put it in the comments below. There was something else. If you are an astrology student and you're versed in astrology, I have a Tuesday night astrology salon, 7 to 9 Eastern. Every Tuesday, there's a core group of us who get together. And if you want to just check it out, you can buy it as a separate, like, one-time class. And if you like it and you want to do a series, you can actually save a little money if you get like 6 classes, you know, in a row. And you can use them at, you don't have to use them in a row, but you'll have 6 opportunities to come in on the class. So we talk about a lot of like current events, but we talk about all kinds of things, or if there's something that the ladies want to know specifically, what is this? What is that? What about this? I read this, and then we'll go down that rabbit hole if need be. But it's a lot of fun, and it's a great group of people. And I'm also going to be doing another intermediate astrology class. I have a class going now that wants to continue, so far be it for me to say no to, if somebody wants to know about astrology, I'm more than happy to teach them. We just did a class on transits, and I'm not sure what the next intermediate class will be, but I'll post it and everything. So I want to talk to the ladies and see what they're most interested in. I think it might be an introduction to evolutionary astrology, which is a branch of astrology. It's the kind of astrology that I practice. So I think that's what I'll probably do. But and thank you very much for my new subscribers. I know I should have said hello at the beginning. Still working out the bugs in my head, I guess. And to my tried and true blue, thank you for following me all these years. It's such a pleasure to be able to share what I love the most, which is astrology, my garden, my animals, and my life. It's a good life, and hard fought, but as all of us, right? All right, take care, everyone. Much love. I'll see you again next week. Take care. Namaste.